Good morning, everybody. Fall is about here. It was 48, 49 degrees this morning. Fall is in the air, it's coming. And as I said, the Rams know it's coming, but they're ready. But are we ready? So we covered a little stuff on the breeding a couple videos ago, but I had a couple more things I wanted to go over there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go inside and do that. But I had to show you. We got the ram shed done, and I told you here was the old ram shed, and I wanted to make some changes, and I want to put a round bale in, and we'll see how much we get done. I'm not sure. Well, if you know me, if you followed anything, once I start, I can't quit. So there's what I got done. And no, I didn't put it all on video. I didn't make a video of it. So, but let's go on. I'll show you what I did. Got to be able to get the round bale in. But if you notice, it's all closed off. You say, well, why is it all closed off? Well, it's all closed off because I have a certain someone that seems to think if there's a round bale out, that's where he goes to the bathroom. And I don't want to have to poop or scoop around a round bale every day. So I have to close it up, just like I've closed that one up. What I did, this is some white material I got my guy. I pull the pin, I take out 2 screws, that swings all the way over. This gate, I got it on a hinge, it'll swing out of the way. And as you can see, I already got the first round bale inside. So it's easy to get in and out. And as you can see, I've got somebody already using a feeder. I set a feeder up inside, and basically all I've done there, see if I can one-hand this, come around this side, and I did a video on this once. I took an old corral panel that was busted up, put a hog gate on it, and a chain, and now I got a feeder. So that was one thing I did there. Figured it makes it a little bit easier. I've got my round bale in. I got the feeder right here. Better close up the other side too, huh? So when it's all said and done, it's real easy to feed everybody. Now, okay, the work I've got to do to go in and out to get my bale, is that a big thing? No, it's not. I'll leave that for now. He'll be okay. It's not that big a deal. If I'm running in October through December, I'll run 5 ewes in the ram. So that's 6. And once we get in the first year, I'll put all the rams together. That's 6 rams. By my figures, it ought to take almost 3 months to eat up an 1,800-pound round bale. So that one's in there now. When that one's gone, I'll replace it with an alfalfa. Then I can feed alfalfa and grass both for a 2 or 3 week period of time to transition over till they're getting straight alfalfa. So that means somewhere here, maybe by November or so, I'll have to open it up. I'll put an alfalfa bale in there. That'll probably last till about February. Then I'll have to do it again, and that's probably it for the year. So I may have to open it up twice. So that's not too bad. And let's go around the other side. I want to show you what I did there. I hate putting out hay. Sorry about the sun. Hate putting out hay and then it rains. Well, I had that little run-in shed and all the pieces were knocked off of it. So I swung it around and yeah, I just attached some pieces of white steel to it to attach it to the other building. It doesn't cover quite the entire feeder, but for the most part now, their hay feeder is undercover. And then of course we've got their regular run-in, the water. I still haven't built the door yet. I've got to build a door. I do have the 2 pieces of trim, so I'm ready to put the pieces of trim on one of these first days. So, how we doing, guys? These guys I'm letting still go out to pasture. The big boys don't get to go out to pasture because they were being really bad on that fence over there. I'm going to have to redo that fence this next year, I think. So I lock them in. All right, we discussed, the discussion is supposed to be are you ready? The rams are ready, but are you ready? So let's go in the barn and we'll go over that stuff. All right, first thing I want to show you, though I'm way early on this, it's going to be my new lambing pens. Those fronts, my daughter had purchased them for her goats. She had purchased a bunch, going to set up her kidding pens and all that. Somehow she ended up with a couple extras that she wasn't going to end up using. So, Dad, if you want to use them, go ahead and use them. I've got them set now so I can start to get an idea. I'm going to push them all back against the wall here. Maybe I better turn this around. You might not see as well there. I'm going to push them against the wall there later. They will give me 4 5-foot by 6-foot kidding pens. And I've got some chain link panels. I'm going to buy some other shorter gates to put in the middle, make it a little easier to move them back and forth. But that allows me 4 pins here, and in the catch pen, I could actually make 3 or 4. So that's the way I'm set up. Mainly I'm set up there because I'm going to be lambing in March. And you know, sometimes it snows here in March. It's not too cold, it's wet. If you can keep them dry, you can keep them out of the wind, you should be pretty good. Which will bring us to, all right, why are you bothering to lamb in March? Why don't you just lamb in April or May when it's nicer, it's warmer, they got grass, it's not snowing and all that stuff? Fair question. Here's my deal. Number one, and this is just between us, okay? Just between us. Number one, I have lambs in March and early April. I'm hoping to be done by mid-April. With that, mid-May or mid-April to May, June, July, I'm up here probably the first part of July, I can be weaning. While everybody else has got 2 months to wait or 6 weeks to wait before they get a wean, I've already got my lambs on the market and for sale. I've already got ads out. I've already got people looking and say, ooh, there's one. I want to be ahead of everybody else. That allows me to be ahead of everybody else. Number two, now, here's where I may differ from some people as far as breeding is concerned. If I have lambs in March and the first part of April, I can take those lambs and by October, November, when I'm breeding, I can breed those lambs. And they will lamb the next year when they're 1 year old. Now, a lot of people say, okay, that's what you can do. You can breed at 7 months. That way they lamb it at their 1 year old. And there's some people who say, no, you don't do that, don't do that. You got to wait, you got to give them a whole year. It can go both ways. I'll show you 2 ewes out there that look exactly the same, body size, look exactly the same. Blackie might be just a little bigger than Brownie, just a tad, but not enough. Blackie was bred at 7 months. Brownie didn't take the first year. She wasn't bred till the next year. Can't see any difference. I'm not saying that's going to be the case all the time, but I don't know if it makes that much difference on body size down the line. And in my case, you're here, I'm breeding you. I'm sorry, I'm not waiting a whole year. Plus, the other one, we're selling, right? We're still selling our stuff. I can sell a ram lamb and a ewe lamb in July. And I can tell them, if you want, you can breed that ewe come, say, November. They could even wait till December, because if they're not going to sell the offspring, it wouldn't matter when the offspring was born. You can breed now, and by this time next year, you'll have your own lamb. To me, that's a better selling point than saying, buy these now, and 2 years from now, you'll have lambs just this size. So to me, it's also a selling point to go with it. But that's why I do it. I breed early. I have the inside facilities where I can do it. If you don't have the inside facilities and you're in a cold climate, yeah, that may not work out so well. All right, got a couple other things. I'm going to hang you up so I can have hands free when I'm doing the other stuff. All right, first, and I wrote this down so I'd have the numbers so I could keep track of it. Feeding. We discussed feeding the mineral, for conception mineral. We discussed flushing and giving more nutrition. Now, I'm not going to say this is a tried and true thing. Some people think it is. Some people don't think it means much. What time of day do you feed? And what time of the day are you having lambs? Are your ewes lambing at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? Are you up all night? Are they doing lambing during the day or whatever? I have heard, and I've seen other people say it works, that if you feed late in the day, you will get more daytime lambing. Now, it works for me because I feed grain, say 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever. I feed my grain and I give them some hay. Real cold in the winter, I may give a little hay in the morning, but the main feeding is late afternoon. It's supposed to be if you feed late afternoon, you'll get more daytime lambing. Well, for the last 2 years, I've kept track. I have a record book, I keep track of all this stuff, and I keep track of time of day when they lamb. So for 2022 and 2023, between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., all right? So I'm going to take 7 to 10 p.m. on those hours. Over those 2 years, I had 15 ewes lamb between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m., and I had 6 of them lamb at night, 15 to 6. And if I went from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., real civilized hours, 12 of those 15 lamb between 9 and 7. So, does it really mean anything if you feed late in the day? You know, this may totally turn around this year. I may get everybody at night, I don't know. But for this, looking at this over the last 2, I'm not going to change it, but is this something you might want to think of changing? I don't know. I just thought I'd put the numbers out there. 2 more things. Hang on. All right. You watch these YouTube videos that somebody tells you, this video was sponsored by. Well, this video was sponsored by me. I'm sponsoring this one. This is my sheep breeding record book that I made. It's available through Amazon, linked down in the description. I love this thing because every year I've got a page for each ram with the ewes. And looking at that, I can go back. If you have multiple rams, you can go back, who did I breed with who 2 years ago, last year, and who am I getting ready to breed who to who this year. I like this because you can't remember from one year to the next. You can put stuff here or there, but I put it together in a book. Now I can sit down, as I was sitting down this year, you can take a look, and you can look at all the important stuff. You can look at pedigrees, the registrations, and everything that goes with it to make that ultimate decision of what ram to put with what ewe. And speaking of that, I made my decisions for this year. Looking over all the information in my books, looking at all the pedigrees and all the registrations, I made my decision. I'm going to put the black and white ram with the black ewes and the brown and white ram with the brown ewes. Sorry, we're going to go by color this year. Except I have one exception to that rule. It's still brown to brown. Lomax, I decided I wanted to breed Lomax to Cali. All right, Cali's been bred to Stony the last 2. This year I want Lomax because this year I'm going to take a shot at line breeding. This will be a line breeding, and that is Lomax is by Longshot, and Longshot and Cali are brother-sister. All right, so I'm going to take a shot down that side. There's probably some people say, oh, you can't do that. You can't do stuff like that. Well, people do it all the time. So otherwise, I didn't get real technical this year. I looked at my numbers and I said, all right, who has Stony been bred to? Hey, let's make some changes. He hasn't been bred to this ewe or this ewe. I think we need to. And Lomax, it's just going to be his first year with a bunch of ewes, so it didn't make much difference either. I guess I was more taking who do I really want to breed to Stony and who don't. And when I kind of got done with that, I thought, hey, that's kind of neat. It's black ones and brown ones. So that's the way I'm going to do it. One more thing. Now, I was talking to somebody the other day. The discussion was knowing when your ewes get bred. And I got lucky. 2 years ago, I have all the security cameras around the place. You know, there's, what do I got? 7, 8, 9 cameras. I'm going to add a 10th because I got to add one more up here to cover these. With all the security cameras 2 years ago, I was breeding 10 ewes. I saw 9 out of 10 on the cameras. So I knew when everybody was bred. Oh, that was great. Then this last year, I didn't see anybody getting bred. I had no idea. It was totally surprises to me sometimes. I think I had 2 picked out, and that's because I saw them get bred the day I put the ram in. And I wasn't 100% sure on that, but those did come out. So you come down to, when did somebody get bred? I like to know, if I can get down to it. And you've probably seen breeding harnesses for the rams. Now, my daughter had used those with her goats, all right? So you can put the breeding harness on, it's got the marker, and then when he breeds the ewes, you'll see the marker. Those are fine, and I'm sure they probably work for some people, but note, as my daughter found with her goats, it was almost a daily thing to tighten them up, readjust them, make sure they're right. So can you easily catch your ram on a daily basis if you need to do that to move the harness? I don't know. So I did something different. I didn't do it the last 2 years because I didn't think I needed to. When I saw them all on the camera, it was fine. Now after this last year, I need to come back and do what I did 3 years ago. When I had, back then it was black bellies. It was not the painted, all right? So what I did in my case, I marked the ewes. And I used rattle powder, all right? Rattle powder. In this case, now I watched somebody that raises sheep on YouTube, and they actually spray the ewe. They got a spray can of stuff. This you mix up. But right here's a picture. There's my black bellies from a few years back, and you can see one that's really smudged up and faded, and another one is nice and bright. You can see the circle easy on it. One's been bred, the other hasn't been bred yet. All right, that's the way I mark them. Now, I make some changes that are different than what Wattle suggests. Technically, Wattle, they suggest you mix this all up and you smear it all over your billy or your ram and let them mark them that way. Well, I ain't smearing that all over him. I went with the small spots because that's what I saw somebody else do on a video. Secondly, this is suggested to be mixed with vegetable oil, or I think mineral oil. I think that was the second one. I don't know. If you go to there'll be a link in the description to this, and you can go look at that also, and you'll see what it's just. I mix mine with water. All right, I put it just with water instead. If mine are out in a big rainstorm, yeah, probably going to lose out. But it'll probably show smudged anyway. Fortunately, I got a bunch of ewes that are kind of wussies, and as soon as it rains, they all run for the barn real quick and get out of the rain. So, and hey, if it's going to be raining, maybe I'll just stick them inside here. At least part of them will. But I use water, mix water with this, get it nice and thick, and put a big, nice round glob right on the butt. And every day when you're going out to feed, take a look real quick. If you see somebody smudged up, write that date down, keep track. You could also come back if you wanted later, bring them in, redo that spot, and let's see 17 days later, or 18, 19, 20, whatever, that one that was smudged on the 1st of October, is she smudged again? Can you put some more on her, and will she be smudged again later? Did she not take the first time? Will she take the second time? If you want to go to that extent, you can do that. I like this though. I used it early, then I quit because I thought my cameras were doing my job. Now they're not. So I'm going back to that this year. We're going to mark all the ewes, which means I need a little help. Where normally I could do this by myself, but if I'm putting this on, I'm probably going to need a little help. But I like to mark them. I like to know when they're going to come in. Gives me a pretty good, it's not 100% perfect, but I'll tell you what. I feel a little better when I got a pretty good idea who's going to lamb and when they're going to lamb. So, all right, that's the things I want to get back to get ready. So we're ready. If you're thinking of this, it's time to buy some quick. If you want to mark down in the record book, you have time to order one quick. And if you're thinking of changing your feed schedule to see if you can get yours to lamb during the day, you've got time to do that. All right, we'll probably see you in a few weeks. Hey, I might have a product I'm going to do a review on. I get contacted quite often by companies. I mean, you see a lot of other videos where people are always got sponsored by and all these other products. And I've been contacted by quite a few myself, but I'm a little channel, so it's kind of real, thinky stuff. Had somebody contact me on something a while back. Want to know if I'd give it a try. I said, yep. And actually when I built the buildings out there, I used this product. So we'll probably be doing a review on that. So if a video shows up at an odd time, that's probably the review. Otherwise, as far as sheep are concerned, see you in a couple weeks.